A few weeks back, I bought this Bronco II, thinking it would be fun to build my own 4x4. Lots of different channels have tried it, and I've always enjoyed being outside. When I was a kid, my family would take regular trips out on the Arizona Strip for overnight campouts and all-day Jeep runs. We used to ride and race dirt bikes, and would travel to different local races like the Poker Run and Rhino Rally. Most of my experience driving and riding off-road has been on dedicated hardware like motorcycles, Polaris UTVs, and quads. I've made a few attempts at building rigs in the past, once with an F-150 and again with a Jeep Cherokee. Both projects ended when the powertrain developed issues I could not afford to deal with. Each failure drove me to smaller and smaller platforms, hoping that eventually the costs would scale down to something achievable. Then, I got a message about this uncommon gem. A Ford Bronco II for sale at an achievable price and close enough that we could trailer it home without any drama. The powertrain was in good shape, and the suspension in reasonable condition, given its age. Altogether, it was the best starting point for a project that I've come across, and it cost more to get into than any previous off-roader I've attempted. The Bronco II was Ford's last attempt to revitalize the Bronco before the line was abandoned in the 90s. Over time, the Bronco had transitioned from being a small, simple, no-frills off-roader to a larger, more modern, SUV-like application. The full-sized Bronco of the era was based on the F-150 chassis, making it a heavy, durable, lumbering beast that could brute force its way through challenges on its massive V8 engine. It was big, heavy, expensive, drank gas like a fish, but could deliver incredible power on demand, and had a respectable truck-like towing capacity. The Bronco II tried to return the line to its roots, scaling the size and power down to something closer to the original. Rather than using the F-150 as a starting point, the Bronco II used a Ford Ranger. Instead of the massive V8, this new offering leveraged a V6 that would eventually evolve into the engine used in the Ford Explorer. The Bronco II still used Ford twin I-beam suspension that was tuned plush from the factory, paired with thickly padded seats that made it one of the most comfortable off-roaders of the day. The end result was a smaller, lighter, cheaper off-roader that was just as capable on the trail as any of the larger platforms, and in some ways more so. The lighter weight meant that the II did not have to lean on its four-wheel drive as much as larger trucks, and was able to access more remote locations with only two wheels pushing. It was also economical, costing less to drive and fitting in tighter spaces on the trail and in the driveway. With a 4,900-pound tow rating, that was still high enough to allow for some useful utility work around the house or on the farm. This does not mean that the Bronco II is perfect. Far from it. The short wheelbase and tall gearing made the automatic transmission Bronco a less capable rock crawler. The axles, while sturdy, are mounted to differentials that are less so. The engine, while great at delivering low-power torque, is fairly mellow compared to the V8s of the same period. It suffered from a design issue that affected the heads, and made it more sensitive to overheating and oil starvation than the 4-liter engine that Jeeps were using. It was also less reliable than the 4-liter Jeeps, requiring more moving parts packed into a smaller engine block. The Bronco II is not a common sight off-road today. First, they weren't made for very long. Jeeps have been in production for decades. The Bronco II got most of a single decade. While it does share a lot of heritage with the Ranger it's derived from, there are still parts that are difficult to find. Second, the Bronco II was hit hard by the Cash for Clunkers program. Too common to be worth anything, too young to be considered vintage. A lot of these rigs were packed off to the car shredder, further eroding availability. Rebuilding and modernizing this thing is going to be difficult. The principal challenge here will be finding or adapting obscure parts. Updating some of the more antiquated systems, where possible, won't be simple. Nor will restoring or replacing what can't be updated or upgraded. The interior is a salute to the 80s that is almost meme-worthy.
What color should the interior be? Just red. Yeah, red. Ceiling, carpet, chairs, dashboard, just red. Steering wheel.
Yeah, the 80s was goofy like that.
Just do red. Don't overthink it.
while the exterior is a rattle can special that is not taken to its age very well. The 2.9-liter Cologne V6 had 140 horsepower when it left the factory in 1986, but I'm guessing about 40 of those horses have escaped over the years, with the thin white smoke that ekes out of the hood vents under load not being something that lends me confidence. The doors and windows have developed some personality over time, roll these windows down, with the driver door having a lot to say when you try to open it from the inside. One of the funny quirks, for your entertainment purposes, this is how I have to open the door. And won't open at all from the outside. This is further compounded by the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing. I have some experience as a mechanic apprentice, a welding fabrication degree from tech school, and a business administration degree that I hardly use. I'm in unfamiliar territory with this project, and recently quit my job. So money is tight, but I have a good idea what I want to do first. Fix the driver's side door. See you all soon.